Hello, everybody, and today I'm reviewing Marley and Me. And you're probably wondering why I'm reviewing this movie randomly. Well, I'll get to that in a bit. But this movie stars Owen Wilson and Jennifer Aniston as they raise a dog throughout their lives. And while Owen Wilson has a career, he ends up learning the beauties of life with Marley, and as he raises his kids with Jennifer Aniston. So this movie is really beautiful in my opinion. It's very emotional, obviously, if you know the ending. I'm going full spoilers in this review. But what really touched me about this movie was the relationship between Owen Wilson and Marley. So he plays I think a journalist in this movie, and he mainly kind of has to switch jobs a lot because he wants to raise his family. But the movie does open on his wedding day, but basically what happens is he is convinced to get a dog before they can give birth to their first child. And they go to a puppy farm, and they find one named Marley. And that one that sticks out the most to them. And what makes the best part of this movie is Marley herself. She's known as the worst dog in this movie, but we know she's not. I think it's a he. He's not. But he gets it from after watching a radio, listens to some song on some radio, and Marley's just adorable as a puppy. But on the first day when he takes him home, he mainly is just barking, and he decides to let him sleep with him. But, of course, the next day he wakes up to Marley tearing up his bed. He ends up tearing out the garage, which is, crazy for a dog to do. I don't know how one puppy can do that. But he was able to do that. But throughout the movie, it's mainly just Owen Wilson trying to do his best for his career. And Jennifer Aniston is also having a career as well, but I think she decides to drop it because she wants to raise her kids. Because later in the movie, she had an unfortunate miscarriage, and it really teared her up. But mainly time jumps a lot in this. But when they do get their first child, his name is Patrick. And then he gets another boy. I think his name is John. I'm sorry if I got the name wrong. And the other is Adrian. Those are the kids' names, I'm pretty sure. But the funniest scenes with Marley is probably when they try to get dog training for him. But he ends up, jumping on the trainer and, jumping on his leg and doing something a little dirty. I thought that scene was hilarious. And he ends up getting kicked out because of it. But when the two decide to go on their honeymoon, they hire a babysitter. And I swear to God, I swear the babysitter kind of looked like Quinn from Zoe 101. I think you know what I'm talking about. But turns out it wasn't her, it's just someone that looks like her. But they tell her all the rules, and Marley ends up just creating chaos for her. He tears off the couch in front of her, he tackles her in the shower, and he just chews on her while she's getting dressed. And then when they finally get home, she immediately just runs for it. But the other best scene is on the beach, where Owen Wilson and Marley are hanging out on the beach, and he decides to let her go, and then he ends up peeing in the water. And I did like the scene where all the other dogs are let go into the beach. It's funny. But what happens next in this movie as the years go by? The kids get older, the couple gets older, and they do end up having a fight because it's becoming too much, where she's raising her kids and she's trying to trying to help Marley, but it just becomes too much. And then she argues with Owen Wilson, telling him to get rid of Marley or find a new kid or move out. I don't know, but they move out a lot in this movie. When Owen Wilson tries to get a raise at his journalism job, but he ends up having to stay permanently to get a raise. But that's what he does to raise his kids. But he ends up going to his friend, Sebastian, who ends up getting a career in New York. But he helps him out a little by staying at the apartment. But when Owen Wilson does get back, he ends up working things out with Jennifer Aniston. I know they have real names in the movie, but I don't know. I just feel like using the actors' names. It's John and Jennifer Aniston's character's name is Jennifer. Ironic, but things do take a turn. Probably the scene that made me emotional the most is when once Marley starts to get older, she starts to not really have as much energy as dogs get older, and they mainly play in like the snow. They play outside. Once John does get a new mansion, and once he gets a permanent new job, he even makes his boss tear up. When he does get a new job, he just moves to this mansion with his family. But as this goes on, Marley ends up not feeling well. He gets her stomach twisted, and he has to go to the doctor. But the doctor gives the unfortunate news. This is where the movie gets really sad. It's they can treat him with medicine, and they don't know if he can make it. But Owen Wilson does his best to tell her that this is no ordinary dog. This is a special dog. And I bet everyone says this every time when they gotta take their own dog to the vet. All our dogs are special. But what happens next is the surgery does work, and Marley is able to go home. But unfortunately, the surgery doesn't really last long, as Marley starts to not really do anything. He ended up disappearing in the woods, and he ended up laying there. But later, the second time he has to go to the vet, he was laying on the floor, not responding, and John has to immediately go back to work. He had to go immediately home after getting a call about it. And, unfortunately, John has to take back Marley to the vet. And because Marley's just too old, the surgery just isn't going to work. And, sorry if I get emotional. But Owen Wilson has to say goodbye to Marley. And he reassures him that Marley is not the worst dog. They couldn't have had any other best dog in the world. And they hug, and Marley is unfortunately put down. Yeah, that scene really got me. I'll tell you this. This movie made me really cry. It probably did for all of you who've seen this movie. But I actually mean it. This movie, the best thing about this movie is the message behind it. It tells us the beauty of life, to have unconditional love for our pets. I do love how Owen Wilson at the end narrates that a dog doesn't care if you're poor, rich, stupid, smart. Just give him your heart and they'll love you back. That's a powerful message right there. Do whatever it takes to find unconditional love. And yeah, Marley is not a bad dog. He's a funny dog. He tears up a lot. But he's a good dog at the end of the day for how loyal he is to John and Jennifer and his kids. And they even wrote little notes and made little speeches when they buried Marley near the spot where they found him when they were looking for him in the woods. But we also, one of the better scenes in this movie is where John takes Marley on one last walk and they stare into the sunset. That scene made me tear up for sure. Most of this movie made me tear up because it just reminds me, which is the reason why I made this video. It has been a year since my dog, Belle, has passed away. I miss her every day, and I love you, Belle, every day. And I do whatever it takes to remember you. And if you've had a pet loss, just know they're always with you in your heart. No matter what you do, find that unconditional love. And this is her as a puppy. So, yeah. So, if you have a dog right now, appreciate every moment you got with it. So, yeah, I give Marley and Me a 10 out of 10. Sorry if I got emotional, but, yeah. When I say I love my dog, I really mean it. And I know you all do, too. But I'm posting this on the anniversary. It's almost been a year since she passed away. So, yeah. Love you, Belle. And I love this movie. So, yeah. I don't think I got anything else to say. So, with that being said, thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time. Miss you, Belle.